want to know what it is though. Like I'm just as like, oh, I came across this article. Let's look at this article. It's alleging that this guy is the real Satoshi. Paul Solochi, Calder Le Roux, a 46-year-old criminal mastermind, is a creator of encryption software E4M and TrueCrypt. The cryptography encryption software Satoshi Nakamoto likely used. Oh man, that was a good part. Likely used to lock up his 1 million BTC, and author of an uncannily similar manifesto to the one in Bitcoin's white paper in 1998. But that's not all. Paul Solochi, is that Solochi? Yeah. Solochi Calder Le Roux employs similar spelling and language in his writing style to that of Satoshi. He's interested in gambling. Bitcoin's initial code had a poker client included. And what's more, he's been in jail since 2012. That's probably the reason why his 1 million Bitcoin hasn't moved. Maybe. On top of that, documents included in the article show a connection of Craig Wright to Paul Solochi. Sound like a 2007 or 007 movie. The identity, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we already know this. Multiple lawsuits. Once Clement has surfaced with new evidence in the form of a Wikipedia page which was not redacted, which oddly enough points to a new Satoshi candidate, and it's not right. The newfound Satoshi candidate is this guy. He's a former cartel boss, drug smuggler, arms dealer, informant to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, and genius programmer. As seen from Le Roux' Wikipedia page, the man lived an eventful life with a career that included gold smuggling, precious metals mining, logging, land deals, drug and arms trafficking, money laundering, assassinations, encryption, software development, and more. He's currently in U.S. custody for ordering the assassinations of 6 people. Really? Let's see. It was presented in the series on Atvis along with a book titled Mastermind. The excerpt summarizing the publication states, he was a brilliant programmer and a vicious cartel boss who became a prized U.S. government asset. This is him in his early 20s, I guess. Okay. Apart from his life as a cartel boss, he was also a brilliant programmer who created E4M, a open source free Windows disk encryption software program in 1989 as well. He's also suspected to be the creator of the open source TrueCrypt disk cryptography package, which is based on that code. How did a man of this nature with extensive criminal background and some impressive programming contributions under his belt come to be tied to Craig Wright's court case? He's being sued by the Kleiman family on accusations that Wright defrauded and stole over $11 billion worth of Bitcoin and hard drives from the now deceased Dave Kleiman, a noted computer forensic expert who is suspected by some to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Wright and Kleiman were business partners until Kleiman died in 2013. The lawsuit that's unfolding in Florida courts has been filled with bizarre theories, misdirections, forgeries, and mistruths, which were often presented by the defendant, Dr. Wright. Among the bizarre things brought forth, motion for protective order. According to Wright, some of the evidence that supports using Satoshi and that the $11 million worth is his own includes sensitive information about his ties to criminals and his involvement in their apprehension and incarceration. Therefore, document 187 has been redacted so that the criminals included in the document would not learn of Wright's involvement with their arrest and seek repercussions against him. However, unfortunately for Wright, whoever was redacting the document failed to black out one of the corresponding footnotes that identifies the criminal kingpin in question. Paul Le Roux. As seen in a footnote above, a partial URL is visible that leads to a Daily Mail article that calls Le Roux a real-life Bond villain with behind a cocaine and gun empire spanning 4 continents who is now turned super snitch. Also, the unredacted footnote clearly contains a link to Paul Le Roux's Wikipedia page indicating that Le Roux may very well be one of the criminals that Wright is afraid of repercussions from. Probably so. With the public release of document 187, it's now being suggested that Paul Le Roux may be Satoshi Nakamoto and that Wright is in the possession of the encrypted hard drives containing Le Roux' stash of the famously stationary 1 million Bitcoins. That would be awesome. But how does Craig Wright, Dave Kleiman, and Paul Le Roux all fit into this perplexing theory? It says that in the unredacted document, information about Le Roux, there's a strong assumption that Le Roux is the unnamed individual that Wright talks about in the document. Therefore, information outlaid in the document combined with some theorization suggests that Wright was an employee of Le Roux and also an informant who helped bring him down in 2012. Following this presumed tale of events, one anonymous Redditor suggests that Wright and his longtime friend and business partner David Kleiman managed to get their hands on Le Roux' encrypted hard drives that hold 1 million bitcoins. However, that's why, unfortunately for Wright, all of Le Roux' coins are locked away in a secure TrueCrypt volumes. Wright has spent years trying to crack these hard drives, but with no success, which is why he is yet to prove he is Satoshi. Adding to the conspiracy theory, Wright's close friend Calvin Ayre has set up warehouses of computers to try and crack the encrypted hard drives' codes, disguising them as cryptocurrency mining farms, meaning his mining activity is simply a front to make these massive data centers look legitimate. Therefore, according to this bewildering yet entirely possible theory, the reason Wright is setting himself up as a real Satoshi is so when he finally cracks the encrypted hard drives and gains access to the 1 million bitcoins, he can attempt to legitimately sell them off. The image above is from a document in the Kleiman versus Wright case and presents claims from Wright where he states that he's in possession of Kleiman's TrueCrypt files that contain his stored Bitcoin. According to Wright, it may be possible to crack the code within 5 to 10 years. All in all, it isn't speculated that TrueCrypt files Wright is in possession of are not Kleiman's, but in fact Le Roux'. That makes sense. We understand that this is a lot to take in. You probably still have doubts and many questions, which is completely understandable. It's a perplexing theory, but upon closer inspection, there are a lot of parallels between Paul Le Roux and what's known about Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay. This is interesting, the manifesto. Why do they think that they're protected by TrueCrypt? How do they know that they're protected by that actually? Excuse me. Satoshi Nakamoto's are allegedly locked away in secure TrueCrypt volumes, encryption software that's based on E4M's code. Okay. Le Roux is highly suspected to have been part of the team of anonymous developers called the TrueCrypt team. This is compelling because some of Le Roux' former colleagues believed he had worked on it, but they couldn't find any corroborating evidence, so it still remains a mystery. All in all, if anyone could have hidden wallets containing 1 million BTC, it would have been the creator of disk encryption software TrueCrypt. So he disappeared in early 2011 to among other things. Around that time, Le Roux transitioned from his field of software development to cartel boss. During this time, he experienced disruptions with his illegal global pharmaceutical business, RX Limited, when the U.S. government and the DEA restricted distribution. He was in Rio. That's crazy. It's traced to the Netherlands. Huh. More parallels. Okay, both were wary of authority. Both had an interest in online gambling. Both understood that a new digital payment system was needed. Yada, yada, yada. Both used similar spelling and language. Okay. Le Roux was a multi-millionaire, if not billionaire, and such wouldn't have needed to cash out his BTC once the price began rising. Still reasons to believe this is not the case. Was refining Bitcoin, Le Roux was already establishing himself as cartel boss and is known to have been drug smuggling and gun running. How would Satoshi be able to do all this while also starting a forum and answering news questions about Bitcoin? Therefore, one could argue that Wright's claim to be in association with Le Roux are completely fabricated in an effort to show he was connected with the origins of Bitcoin. Wright doesn't have the best reputation in the crypto space, and few aside from Calvin believe a word he says, including claims that he created Bitcoin and a Satoshi. Therefore, everything Wright must be rigorously fact-checked and treated with caution. That's interesting, isn't it? What does everybody think about that? Kind of a lot to... What do you guys think about that? It's a pretty interesting article, huh? I'll put it up in the chat for you guys to take a look at. Very interesting article.